Okay, TGI Friday, a little bit early. Figured I'd pack all the information in tonight rather than wait till tomorrow. Earlier today at the City Council, the aldermen voted to reject the arbitration award for termination cases. It was 32 to 18. Came up 3 votes short. That wasn't much of a surprise, to be honest with you. We had one vote change, certainly not enough. Regrettable, to say the least. And there was some mistruths, some intentional lies, misrepresentations, or just plain ignorance from a lot of the aldermen on the floor. I want to personally thank the aldermen who voted in favor and in support of our members' labor rights under the Illinois Labor Rights Act. I don't know how else to frame it. They've certainly tried to explain to their colleagues that this is a violation of their oath of office. They did swear an oath to the Illinois Constitution. The Labor Act is part of that law. An oath, no matter what they say and try and get out from under. And they do not have the ability. I mean, I know they think they do, and they voted accordingly, to just say, screw it, I'm not going to do it. There will be a repercussion and something that's going to be, there's going to be some accountability. They keep talking about accountability. They're going to be held accountable for that. And starting with the mayor, he is all but guaranteed that he is at the top of the target list when it comes to the election in 2027. He thinks that this contract bought him peace. It did not, because there are so many issues even with this agreement, and he has shown his true colors. He hates the police. He's got a band of married men and women behind him who hate the police, socialists and communists in that city council, who will never vote in favor of the police. 9 of them, or 8 of them, I believe, voted even against the contract part of it. So they can say what they want. They're not anti-police. Their actions and their votes dictate otherwise. But transparency and accountability, that's what's going to be coming to City Hall. Like I said, the mayor is certainly at the top of the list when it comes to the 2027 election. There are certainly more than a handful of aldermen who are also going to be in our crosshairs that we believe are going to be replaceable in the 2027 election. Some of them had tough elections going in this cycle. Stay tuned. But you threw the gauntlet down. You basically dared us. And now you're going to see what we're going to do coming for your seats. And we got 3 years to plan it out and make it a reality. But this was a fight that never had to happen if you were really the party of labor. You, Mr. Mayor, and your Democratic allies, and I stress Democratic, who are supposedly the party of labor, are going to have a fight. You have a convention coming to this city in August. I can guarantee you this lodge, in collaboration with Local 2 firefighters, are going to be all over you about being anti-union, not negotiating in good faith. We're going to have repeated examples of your lies, your mistruths, and your anti-labor stances. If you had any guts, you would have taken this fight to Springfield to try and change the law, not interpret it as you see fit and say, tough luck, we don't have to do it because we have a moral obligation to a handful of squeaky wheels. Again, the gallery was not even full today at City Council. So if this was such a hot button topic for the anti-police people, where were they all? They weren't there. Teachers weren't there because, as Ray Lopez rightly pointed out, they have it basically made when it comes to arbitration and their sexual misconduct allegations, which I guess, according to a lot of these aldermen, don't do any damage or long-lasting effects to the kids affected by them. 400 plus in just the last calendar year alone. And again, nobody's calling for accountability there. The Catholic Church, yet another one. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the hypocrisy of this. I think Alderman Hopkins framed it probably best, and Tabaris, who was pretty passionate with her speech. But as Hopkins said, quit comparing this because we get to carry a badge and a gun and we may have to use them and unfortunately sometimes take a life, to plumbers and electricians who do not have to wear a bulletproof vest to go to work, who do not have to run into danger when it occurs. They get to run the other way and call 911. They do not have to take actions that could lead to the loss of life and deal with that and for the rest of their lives. So, yes, our responsibilities are very different, but again, the labor protections under the Illinois Labor Relations Act is very clear, and shame on them for deciding to go otherwise. Let's talk about some of the people who spoke out against it. It's ironic. You got people, rich people like Alderman Conway, a lawyer, and also pointed out, a lawyer who should know the law, who should, as a lawyer, be obligated to follow the law. A whole nother avenue, along with Alderman Taliaferro, another licensed attorney, who basically fails to follow the law and his oath. But we'll deal with that as a separate track. But for Conway to sit there and talk about putting 3 policemen in jail for criminal behavior and how other policemen told him they were really glad they did that, they didn't want to work with officers like that, yada, 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 yada. As we've said from the beginning, that's criminal behavior that's adjudicated in an entirely different forum than what we are talking about here. This is about misconduct, administrative misconduct, not criminal misconduct. They have conflated this argument from day one, and they keep using it to stoke emotions to support their position of being anti-union and anti-police. Taliaferro that much, and along with Jason Irvin too. Again, the mindset that, okay, our constituents want this, so we're going to do it. Well, that's like saying my kid wants candy at midnight and soda, and I'm just going to give it to them because they scream and yell and throw tantrums, and we're going to give it to them because we don't want to deal with them and tell them a hard truth. No, we can't do it. That's what a real leader does. But that city council is loaded with a lot of not real leaders. That's just where we're at in today's society, and we're going to do our damnedest to try and affect some change in there in 2027, starting with the top spot. Also, I told you all that the COVID battle was going to be 2 briefs filed by both parties on the 19th of February. Well, the city's lead attorney, Jennifer Dunn, asked for yet another extension because of a hand injury, and apparently she's not doing any legal work for the forensic law firm. She already was granted one because of a hand injury that prevented her from doing the brief. Well, she asked for a second one because apparently she's still not working for the forensic law firm, even though I know that's an outright lie and misrepresentation. She is billing the city for her labor, so she is doing work, but it's not on the brief for COVID. It's another delay tactic, whether it's engineered by City Hall or it's the forensic law firm in general. I have no idea, but unfortunately, the Labor Board granted that second request for an extension, and the briefs, I don't expect another one to be granted, are due March 11th. We should have a decision pretty quickly after that once those briefs are filed. Lastly, last week I asked anybody who was denied parental leave, especially the retroactive component of it, to contact the lodge and put your name on a list so we can tender it to Labor Relations. I think we gave that earlier today to Labor Relations. It's not too late. If you know anybody, spread the word. Anybody who has a child that's just over 1 year old who applied for parental leave and was denied, we need to know that sooner rather than later so we can try and get that remedied. But again, it's already been tendered. The first part of the list, we can certainly keep adding. If you have somebody you know, or it's you personally, you need to let us know as soon as possible. That being said, everybody have a safe weekend, and I will add this lastly. There's been some ridiculous, slanderous accusations on a particular social media website. Any member who wants to come and get those questions answered, feel free. General membership meeting is next Wednesday at noon, and I will be certainly happy to address all the false allegations, the basis for them, where they're coming from, why they're coming out, and the dangers of members who think that this is a smart path to undertake. I will defend the board's decision on the document review policies, and anything a member asks, those questions are always answered. I don't run away from a microphone. If a member has a question, they will get an answer. So I will see you Wednesday. With that being said, good night.